When Seviper joined Jessie's team in Ruby and Sapphire, it felt like a spiritual successor to Arbok. Like Arbok, it was loyal, aggressive, and snake-like, but Seviper was more than just a replacement. It was darker and more sadistic than its predecessor. While Arbok had a heart, Seviper acted without remorse. In essence, it was Arbok without morals. Hi, I'm Professor Silver, and today I'll break down the history of Jessie's Seviper, detailing how it emerged from Arbok's shadow to become Jessie's most ruthless Pokemon. Seviper debuted in A Tale with a Twist as a selfish bully. It thrived in the wild by stealing food from weaker Pokemon like May's Torchic. When Ash's Trico and its allies intervened, Seviper attacked without hesitation. It used Haze to sow confusion, and Poison Tail to hurt Trico's shoulder. Because Seviper impressed Jessie, she made it her mission to catch it. However, Seviper's cunning made this a difficult task. It evaded Team Rocket's traps, bit through their net, ignored Wobbuffet, and repelled Meowth. It wasn't until Seviper stole a rice ball, bit Jessie's hair, and felt the full force of her fury that it was finally captured. At the same time that Jessie caught Seviper, Trico trained for their rematch. That rematch marked Seviper's debut as Jessie's main battler. Unfortunately, thanks to Trico's training and newfound bond with Ash, he claimed victory. Despite the loss, Seviper became Jessie's most used Pokemon in Hoenn. Similar to Weezing with Smog and Smokescreen, Seviper used Haze to obscure the gang's vision and aid in escapes. That said, its appearance and prowess in battle made it far more akin to Arbok. Just as Arbok was tougher than Weezing, Seviper was more deadly than its partner Cacnea. As successors to Arbok and Weezing, Seviper and Cacnea fought side by side throughout the Hoenn, Battle Frontier, and Sinnoh sagas. Like their predecessors, they lost many battles, with their losses bolstering the legacy of others. They fell to numerous opponents, including Pikachu, Trico, Torkoal, Corphish, Ash and May's Bulbasaur, and other Pokemon belonging to Ash and his friends. Seviper almost beat Pikachu in Cheer Pressure, but lost after Max exposed Jessie's cheating. During the Hoenn and Battle Frontier eras, Seviper also suffered losses to notable opponents like Steven Stone's Aggron, Brawly's Hariyama, Magma Mightyena, Norman's Slacking, Morrison's Beldum, Agatha's Golbat, Lucy's Seviper, and Annabelle's Alakazam. Although Seviper and Cacnea generally got along, they clashed in memorable battles. In the bicker the better, they fought after Jessie and James blamed each other for losing to a pair of Nidos. Cacnea teamed up with Ash's Corphish, while Seviper partnered with May's Skitty. Despite both sides putting in their best efforts, neither won due to Jessie cheating by summoning Dustox. Later on, in Sweet Baby James, Cacnea and Seviper fought again, with Cacnea ultimately winning because it joined forces with Ash's Phanpy to prevent Jessie from stealing Pokemon from James's family estate. On the rare occasions Seviper almost won in Hoenn, disruptions usually occurred. For example, in Sharpedo Attack, Seviper poisoned a Sharpedo, but was blasted off before it could secure victory. It also beat several Raikou mechs, though they weren't actual Pokemon. Additionally, in Zigzag Zangoose, Seviper was stopped by Ash before it could beat Nikolai's Zangoose. Zangoose wasn't just any opponent, it was Seviper's rival. Their generations-long feud sparked an innate urge to battle that not even their trainers could control. Upon sensing Zangoose's presence for the very first time, Seviper charged forward with unrestrained fury. Had Ash not intervened, Zangoose might have perished. Seviper's obsession with defeating Zangoose frustrated James and Meowth, but Jessie understood. She too had a personal vendetta against her own rival, Cassidy. This shared drive to defeat their enemies solidified Seviper and Jessie's bond. When the rematch arrived, Seviper initially dominated. Zangoose was tired from their first bout, so it struggled to dodge. Even after James and Meowth stole Pikachu mid-battle, Jessie continued giving Seviper orders. This showed that she valued Seviper more than her mission of stealing Pikachu. Unfortunately, James and Meowth inspired Zangoose's trainer Nikolai to develop a zigzag strategy that allowed Zangoose to dodge Seviper's attacks and ultimately win the battle with Crush Claw. Though Seviper lost, Jessie praised its fighting spirit, claiming its might would go down in history. Of course, Seviper's tenacity wasn't limited to battles alone. Jessie also recognized its potential to shine in contest. Although it wasn't a natural performer, its loyalty to Jessie saw it through the toughest of competitions. In All Things Bright and Beautifly, Seviper entered the Rustboro Contest Appeals round, despite Jessie being new to contest and unprepared for the task. The debut ended in disaster, as Jessie called for nonsensical attacks like Blaze Kick, Sacred Fire, and Water Pulse. At round's end, Seviper blasted Jessie off out of nervous desperation. Yet, Jessie didn't blame Seviper for the mishap. Instead, she recognized her own missteps and praised its Poison Tail, noting its potential for future contests. Seviper's contest journey fully took off when Jessie traveled to Sinnoh. During the Sinnoh saga in Diamond and Pearl, Jessie's bond with Seviper deepened thanks to all the scheming, battling, and performing they did together. Besides Cacnea, Seviper battled alongside Dustox, Wobbuffet, Yanmega, and Carnivine. Yanmega sometimes stole Seviper's thunder by replacing it in battle, but Seviper still made frequent appearances. To compensate for fewer battles, it provided getaway support with Haze and fully embraced its role as Weezing's second coming. In Sinnoh, Seviper remained a jobber. Most of its scheme-related appearances ended in defeat. Notable opponents that beat it include Ash's Pikachu, Torterra, and Gible, Brock's Happiny, Dawn's Piplup, Jay's Ariados, Galactic Golbat, and Bertha's Golem. Adding to its string of losses, Seviper also failed to beat Wild Zangoose when presented with more of the species in Tears for Fears. Seviper fought 3 of them without abandon, but got blasted off before it could win. Regrettably, the honor of victory fell to Chimchar, who also despised Zangoose. Despite the setbacks, Seviper still had its triumphs. It helped Jessie excel in the Pokemon Triathlon, beat a Golduck with Carnivine's help, feinted Ash's Staravia by teaming up with the Yanmega, dominated Elite Four member Aaron's Drapion, incapacitated Zoe's Glameow, hurt a shiny Metagross, nearly beat Ash's Pikachu and Volkner's Raichu, clobbered Weasel while wearing armor, and held its own against Cassidy's Gramble. Battle-wise, Seviper's greatest triumph was its tie with Brock's Croagunk in Leave It to Brocco. During the showdown, Seviper landed Bite, tanked Poison Jab, withstood Poison Sting, and wrapped the life out of Croagunk. Although it fainted at the same time due to repeated hits from Brick Break, the result was epic. All that said, rather than battling, where Seviper truly shined was in Sinnoh Contest. Though its impersonation of Wallace's Milotic didn't impress Wallace in Our Cup Runneth Over, Seviper was still a beast on the performance stage. On the road to the Grand Festival, it partook in 6 contests, excelling in both appeals and battles. First off, at the Flow Aroma contest, in the episode settling a not-so-old score, Seviper propelled Jessie through the appeals round. While training for Jessie's next contest, Seviper joined forces with Dustox to battle Zoe's Glameow and Shellos in a stand-up sit-down. They used Poison Sting and Poison Tail, but Zoe's team blocked the attacks and triumphed with a Blizzard-powered Shadow Claw. Seviper and Dustox's struggles continued at the Heart Home contest. Though they tried their best in Dawn's Early Night, they fell to Nando's Kricketune and Roselia. After that, at the Sandalstraw contest in Old Rivals New Tricks, Seviper beat a Gastrodon before falling to Dawn's Ambipom in a hard-fought battle. During the Daybreak contest in Yes Indeedy It's Dawn and playing the Performance Encore, Seviper teamed up with Carnivine for a Snake Charm appeal and joined forces with Yanmega to battle Ursula's Plusle and Minun. In spite of using Haze, Sonic Boom, Poison Tail, and Silverwind, Seviper and Yanmega fell to their opponents' Helping Hand and Spark. The loss didn't keep Seviper or Jessie down for long. At the Neighborly contest, in Teaching the Student Teacher, Seviper stole the spotlight. It impressed in the appeals round with an electric seal, and even won every single battle round. While judging the contest, Dawn's mom, a top coordinator, gave Seviper major props. She said it's Haze beautiful and Poison Tail exquisite. Jessie tried to build on the victory by using Seviper at the Arrowroot contest in Dawn of a Royal Day, but she and Seviper were beaten by Princess Salvia and her Togekiss. Initially, Seviper held the advantage in their battle. It used Haze to overpower Air Slash and Poison Tail to send Togekiss flying, but Salvia rallied and Togekiss regained focus. The Jubilee Pokemon deflected Bite with Safeguard, countered with Air Slash, dodged Poison Tail, and won with Aura Sphere. This allowed Jessie to qualify for the Grand Festival, where Seviper starred as a true standout. At the Grand Festival, Seviper and Yanmega powered through the appeals using Haze and Silverwind. As the festival continued, and opposites interact and coming full festival circle, Seviper won 2 battle rounds with the Omega and teamed up with Carnivine against Non-Cyndaquil and Baneri. Seviper and Carnivine tried their best, but they still lost, leaving Jessie to finish the competition in the final 4. All in all, Seviper's contribution to Jessie's contest run established the trainer as one of Sinnoh's best performers. Had Jessie kept Seviper on her team and pursued her dreams, she might have become a top coordinator. Alas, after losing to Ash and his friends' Pokemon in Memories Are Made of Bliss, Seviper and the rest of its Sinnoh allies were left at Rocket HQ. They were left there because Giovanni ordered Jessie and James to bring no non-native Pokemon to Unova beyond Meowth. As a result, Seviper stayed at Rocket HQ for many episodes, not reappearing until Journeys. In the episode Rocket Revengers, Seviper was finally returned alongside the rest of the Pokemon Jessie and James stored at Rocket HQ. Seviper was truly happy to see Jessie, suggesting it genuinely loved her. And of course, the feeling was mutual. After a warm reunion with Jessie, Seviper joined its teammates in a plot to capture Pikachu. In doing so, it revealed its newfound knowledge of Sludge Bomb. Wobbuffet accidentally thwarted their efforts, but Team Rocket kept all their Pokemon as a silver lining. This suggests that even though Jessie has left the series, she keeps Seviper on her team so as to help in schemes and possibly contests. As that concludes Seviper's history to date, let's get to its battle record. Like most of Team Rocket's Pokemon, Seviper's losses often involved multiple Pokemon. As a result, we'll just look at its wins and ties. Seviper defeated Ash's Trico, Wild Golduck, Ash's Staravia, and Gastrodon. It tied with Brock's Croagunk. Although the wins weren't shown on screen, it's confirmed that Seviper defeated several Pokemon at the contest it competed in. Move-wise, Seviper used Bite, Haze, Poison Tail, Sludge Bomb, and Wrap. What I love most about Seviper is that it was the first of Team Rocket's Pokemon to feel truly evil. With more wins and a stronger narrative, it could have been one of Jessie's greatest partners. While it shares many similarities with Arbok, Seviper's personality is far darker, and if anything, more akin to Mimikyu. Like Mimikyu, Seviper was often driven by a fierce desire to destroy its rival. Unfortunately, its rivalry with Zangoose wasn't as fully fleshed out as Mimikyu's war with Pikachu. If it were up to me, Seviper's rivalry with Zangoose would have resulted in its playing a pivotal role in Chimchar's overcoming its fear of the Pokemon. This would have given Seviper a chance to defeat its long-running rival and cement its status as Team Rocket's Cobra Kai sensei. Most importantly, mentoring Chimchar would have allowed Seviper to evolve beyond the bully we saw in Hoenn. Seviper never quite reached its full potential, but it provided plenty of entertainment. As a result, it has my thanks. On that note, class is adjourned. I'm Professor Silver. Until next time, catch you later.